the Universal Helios Grand Hotel. Now, this is the hotel that, first of all, looks amazing. It is located inside of Epic Universe. And we didn't know, well, at least I didn't know much about it going in. But they did do like a whole reveal video. They do like the swooping videos. What do they call those?
The fly-through animations.
Thank you.
Yes,
The
yes.
swooping ones.
Yeah.
They
are very swoopy.
Yeah, they did that. We have some information about the rooms and restaurants, etc. But yeah, first we're gonna basically say, what do they say about it in general, Jared?
So the official description, it says, your place in the sun. Step into a sunlit sanctuary where light and life and laughter abound, rising above the waters of Celestial Park at Universal's Epic Universe. Helios Grand Hotel is a majestic escape where relaxation comes naturally. Beautiful details of celestial patterns and constellation adorn the hotel with a casual, elegant Mediterranean-inspired feel throughout.
Okay.
This is supposed to be the palace, if you think about it, for like Helios, the god of the sun, basically, is the thinking here. Because Celestial Park is very much in that vibe and thing. So it's basically taking everything that we've seen about Celestial Park and then putting it into the hotel as well. So it's an extension of Celestial Park. So
tell me about like the architecture and stuff. So I see a lot of gold. I see a lot of cream colors, the dome on the top, very much like a lot of glass. Yes. So tell me about that.
So architecture wise, like the lobby, which they showed some concept art for it, the lobby reminds me a lot of the Riviera. In terms of that feel.
Well, Mediterranean, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of whites, a lot of clean lines, very elegant looking in the way it looks. But it doesn't feel like, from what I've seen, it looks elegant and nice, but it doesn't look, I don't know how you really put it, like over the top elegance.
I think it looks very modern Greek. Like if I had to like put
that's a good way to put it.
It's very modern. Like I said, lots of glass, lots of gold, clean colors.
The gold accents throughout are going to be there, like everywhere, like the lobby, the rooms, and all that stuff like that. And so I think that's definitely a part of this.
Yeah. So it definitely, I like the vibe. I do like the vibe. Some of the concept art, like especially with the lobby and like the gathering areas or like the big areas, seem very simple. Like there's not a lot to it, which is just fine. But I think that where that's really going to be like extraordinary for this hotel is the views, the access to the park. And one of the main things is that you have your own dedicated entrance from this hotel into Epic Universe, which obviously, right? It's like right there.
Right. Well, in the lobby, I mean, they've got, it's very much, if you've been in Riviera, how you can see out the back through open glass and stuff like that. Except for this one, you're going to be able to see directly into Epic Universe. So that and alone is a cool thing. Of as soon as you go into the lobby, you're going to be able to see the park, like through Celestial Park, basically.
Exactly.
Now, I've heard some people have complaints saying it seems very like meh and very simple.
You think that's true?
The thing is, when you're looking at concept art,
right?
I think sometimes with concept art, like we talk about with Disney with concept art, I don't ever really, when Disney releases concept art, I don't typically dig deep into it because it typically changes so much.
Yeah.
With Universal, they're much more consistent in doing what the concept art shows, but at the same time, I'm imagining it can be really difficult maybe to show a lot of the details that may be there. So I imagine now, it looks good to me. I don't think anything about it looks bad. I think it very much goes with the aesthetic of Celestial Park and what they're doing. I just think a lot of the things that will be details you'll notice may not show through the concept art per se. But obviously the big draw of this hotel is the fact that it's an in-park hotel. And then the other part, they didn't go into this, and I imagine this is true, is that it is going to be, and I had a video, this is what leaked earlier in the year, was what they were looking at this being was like a Disney castle in terms of how it will be for the park, but you can stay in it. So for fireworks shows, like using projections on it and using it as the like center focus of the park.
So is it like the park icon?
Well, they didn't say that. That is what I still think is up in the air a bit, but I do believe it's supposed to be sort of like the park icon.
That's interesting.
There's the fountain in front of it, which they still haven't said much about the fountain. Obviously, they're going to have shows, but I do think it's going to operate as sort of like the Cinderella Castle of this park, except for the fact that you can stay in it.
Right.
And obviously have access to it and things like that. So there's still a lot of questions about it. I think it looks really good. I think it looks very pretty. I definitely think it's going to be the most expensive hotel on property.
Yeah.
If I were to guess, some people were debating that, but I don't really think that's really up for debate. I think that's for sure. But in terms of the aesthetic and feel, as of right now, I like it. Obviously, whenever it's open, there's some questions which we'll get into, but what they showed, I thought looked really good.
Well, let's talk about the rooms real quick. So there's over 500 like standard 2 queen bed setup rooms. And these will have, regular views, they'll have garden views, and they'll of course have theme park views that will overlook Celestial Park and basically see the whole thing. So I'm guessing those theme park views are going to be in the same realm as like being very attractive to those that also like the castle views of Contemporary.
One would assume, except these would be much closer even than Contemporary.
Very close.
For that.
Very close.
They also have 35 suites. So there's King, Presidential, and Hospitality suites. Presidential being the largest. No clue on any of the pricing yet, so I'm sure those are going to be way up there. And they also announced that they have How to Train Your Dragon suites.
Those are going to be so cute. I mean, they have the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World suites over in, is it Royal Pacific? I think it is.
Yes, I think
Sapphire Falls has just a regular kid suites. Hard Rock has the kids suites as well. There's what other? Oh, there's Minions. That's what it is. The Minions kid suites as well. So like they take a lot of their IPs and make them into just suites in certain hotels. So How to Train Your Dragon, these will be very
and these
cute.
look like the dragon houses at the headboards and things
Yes.
like that. So those now I don't know how many there will be specifically of these. Not many.
Probably not many.
So they'll probably sell out. This is typically the thing with these types is they typically sell out quite a bit.
But they look so cute.
They do. They show the room like you can see the overhead view of the different rooms and things like that. Now, I will say the standard rooms, they're not huge by any means.
They're probably going to be around 300 to
I think
315.
I think 350 square feet.
350? Okay, that is
are.
bigger than some of the other ones then.
Yeah, so they're not massive, but I think that's the thing too is like a lot of these fall in line with, and some people were saying the rooms itself like seem kind of plain, but again, this is concept art, so we'll have to wait and see. The headboards I know they said are very much, it almost has like a 90s like floral vibe to it in a way, but again, you have theme park views.
Right.
Very much in line. These are Lowe's hotels that Universal is partnership with, so they're very much in line with Sapphire Falls looking type room, which I like. But I think this is also more of what they do for hotels now, where instead of going like over the top theming, a lot of it is very much modern. A lot, clean lines, wide. I don't necessarily like that. I like more, I guess you would say, character in a room.
Okay.
But this is kind of what most hotels go with nowadays.
Yep. Those just little splashes of theming here and there.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's basically what's been happening lately. And all the rooms will have a like tablet capabilities where you are able to control the lights, close the curtains, room temperature, call
for
room service.
Yeah. I mean, this is what they do at Aventura.
Yeah. The other hotels didn't really do that. They didn't really have them start doing that, even though Aventura does. So I'm interested to see the implementation of the tablets throughout this hotel. So that'll be interesting.
Well, it's a comment. I mean, we've stayed in hotels like Vegas that do this, so this isn't really a new thing. It's newish.
I'm talking about Universal.
For sure,
doing
it's newish for Universal. Now, I will
Yeah.
be curious how they've got the room service bot for Aventura. That goes through.
What's his name?
I can't remember his name, but it's kind of cool. Like it's a novelty thing, but the idea that you can control it from a tablet, I think, is functional and also very like makes you feel much more like, oh, this is really fancy. You can do that.
Relay.
I think Relay's his
Relay?
name. Yeah. So no clue if that's going to be the case with this, but you can control all that stuff through the tablet.
And they will have club level rooms as well.
They will.
So
They will.
I mean, I think all of this type of hotel does have those. And real quick, since we're talking about it and we're mentioning the type of rooms, they did change. Universal did announce a change to how they categorize the hotel rooms in like basically throughout the resort. So they've got 3 categories now. There's Value Inn and Suites, which is Cabana Bay Beach Resort, and the Endless Summer, Dockside Inn and Suites, and Surfside Inn and Suites. That's your basic ones, basically. Prime value is now the Universal Terra Luna Resort, Universal Stella Nova Resort, and Universal Aventura Resort. And then Signature Collection is now Universal Helios Grand Hotel, Lowe's Portofino Bay Hotel, Hard Rock Hotel, Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort, and Lowe's Sapphire Falls Resort got a bump. And that's her Signature Collection in there. So that's interesting about that.
Well, Sapphire Falls is the only moderate, technically, I think, is what they didn't they classify it as a moderate, or how they put that?
Whenever what year did it open? I think it was 2016, 2017, something like that. I believe you're right. I think they had Cabana Bay, they had Sapphire, and then they had the other three.
Yeah.
But then they built Aventura after that, and then they built the Endless Summer, so it kind of got shuffled around. But yeah.
I mean, Sapphire has been one of my favorite resorts for a long time on any property, Disney or Universal. So being in this Signature, I actually think it kind of fits there because you do have boat access to City Walk, which is a giant perk. It's a beautiful resort. I guess the one question and a caveat is when it comes to Express Pass. One would assume all the Signatures would, but I think they technically say select Signature hotels have Express Pass.
As of right now, the information that some travel agents have been given is that nothing has been said about Helios and nothing has been said about Sapphire Falls.
Correct.
When it comes to Express Pass. So as of right now, it's just those same three. And we don't know if Epic Universe is going to have Express Pass.
Well, and that's what I was going to say too. That stuff, those details are not, we don't know.
They're not established
I would
yet.
Assume Epic Universe would have Express Pass on some stuff. I mean, obviously, if you've been around Universal for long, the really high demand rides don't have Express Pass. Hagrid still doesn't. I think they just added Velocicoaster.
Velocicoaster added it pretty quickly. Hagrid's has been open for 5 years.
And it took a long time for Forbidden Journey to ever get Express. So some of them won't have it. So I would imagine some things in Epic Universe will. I also would imagine, if Helios is the most expensive hotel on property, which I'm assuming it's going to be, that it would have Express Pass that you would use at least in the other parks.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know what's going to happen with Epic Universe, but there is a question mark there in terms of that, I suppose.
At least, I mean, it'll eventually get there. We'll eventually have Express Pass for everything in the park. It's just a matter of time of when.
They may not have it when it first opens.
Right.
I could see that being a scenario, but eventually, it will. But again, I would assume in the existing parks, if you're staying at Helios, that you would have access to that. But I'm sure these details will be, talked about at length once they make official announcements of park opening and things like that.
At length. Okay. All right, let's talk about some bars and restaurants. So Jared, take it away. Let's talk about the rooftop bar.
Yes. So this is the cool part. One of the cool parts is Bar Helios. So this is the rooftop bar that's in the dome, at the main dome up top there. So again, called Bar Helios. It's a rooftop bar and restaurant. It says we're going to lean into that Mediterranean approach with sliders, salads, lamb, and chicken gyros. I think I said, is it gyros?
No.
How do you say it?
It's gyro.
Gyros, whatever. I say gyros because I'm from the Midwest.
It is definitely a gyro.
Well, anyways, you can get your chicken gyros there. Tapas, antipasta. We'll serve really sunny type cocktails like spritzes, bellinis, martinis, and negrinis, in addition to typical cocktail beer and what?
Negrinis? Negronis?
I don't know these things. Okay. I'm from Missouri, okay? Listen, the fact that I can put together a full sentence and say most of these words being from Missouri, that's a win, okay? So I don't know these types of things. I'm a simple beer and cocktail type guy for the most part. But so in addition to typical cocktail, beer, and wine options, and this was said by David Bartek, who's the Senior Vice President of Operations for Lowe's Hotels. And if you look at the concept art of this, it looks amazing up there. I mean, it looks like obviously in a circular pattern, or the room is set up in a circle, and you can see views of Epic Universe inside of it, and then there's even seating on the outside, so you can sit outside there's windows and stuff to keep you obviously from having a risk there. But views wise, it looks amazing. The bar looks really cool how it's set up. So I imagine this will be very popular. I imagine this also will be for people only staying at the hotel, would be my guess.
I don't know. The 360 views is going to be amazing. If you look in the restaurant, you'll see Greek writing above, and it's a lot of like, again, a lot of gold, champagne colors, very neutral colors. But man, those views. Yeah, forget about the food. The food I'm sure will be good, but the views alone.
Well, it even has celestial stuff up top, like constellations, which is very a common theme inside Celestial Park is having these like constellation things. But yeah, I mean, that is my question. One of the questions I do have when it comes to Helios in general, are you going to be able to go into this hotel if you aren't staying here? Just because it's an in-park hotel.
I don't know.
I could see them limiting it to where you know, you're not going to just let everybody from the park go in here, because then it would make the hotel like extremely crowded, like in the lobby areas. But so those details we don't know. But either way, I mean, obviously the Bar Helios looks great. There's also a ballroom up there, but they didn't say anything about the ballroom. But they are building a ballroom up there as well.
Oh, nice.
So there's another restaurant called Flora Taverna. Open kitchen and al fresco dining is what they say about it there. But it's all authentic, high quality, fresh ingredients, leaning heavily into grilling. It's simple flavors made with exceptional ingredients and complemented by bringing in olive oils, citrus, and herbs, and just emphasizing that Greek-Italian style of cooking and dining. Think fish, seafood, lamb, roasted chicken, and steaks, but of course also flatbreads with a great burger, because we know some of our guests like that. I mean, this one looks very much there's like trees on the inside. It's very open. It's got a lot of windows.
You know what it looks like? It looks like Summer House at Disney Springs.
It does. It looks a lot like that,
does.
actually. Yeah, it's like got flowers inside.
Wicker. There's wicker. A lot of wicker.
Is that wicker in those?
There's some wicker in there. Yeah, there's some wicker. That's okay, though. Yeah, I mean, that's the vibe. That's the look that people really like right now. It's very bright and open. Lots of windows still. And you'll be getting breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. So it'll be open for most of the day.
Yes.
So that's cool.
Very true.
Yeah.
And then there is the Aurora Market, which is the grab and go area where you can just get stuff. And they say about that one, we want to make sure theme park guests have a simple artisanal grab and go option throughout the day, but especially in the morning. This will have freshly roasted coffee, paninis, wraps, salads, everything to really get people started for their day in and out of that space quickly.
This is the David guy from the senior vice president of Lowe's. He's saying all of this, by the way.
Yes, he is. Thank you, David. And then there is the Lotus Lagoon, which is the pool bar, which we'll talk about the pool. But this is a casual poolside bar offering burgers and salads, familiar poolside fare, plus cocktails, beer, and wine. So, I mean, concept art-wise, that one, I mean, it's a pool bar. There's nothing like
it's a pool bar
wild about it, but it is kind of cool that it's in the middle there. It's another circular setup where you can get to it from different areas.
What do you call that? Just like a dome?
Kind of. It's like a circular dome area. It looks very nice. I mean, it looks like it's got brick. Again, it's going with this like green, like plants on the inside, very open.
Yeah.
So
you're right. It does look. It looks very Riviera-esque.
Yes, and the flooring. If you look at the flooring too, it's got very like patterned tiles on the floor and stuff like that. So I think it is going very. And again, we love Riviera, so I'm not against like it being very similar to Riviera. It's one of my favorite hotels, so I like that style.
Well, in the Riviera at Disney pulled Italian Riviera, French Riviera, like they pulled a lot of influences from that over there. So like that makes sense because it's Mediterranean. This is very Greek Italian focused. So that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about the pool next because I think this is kind of cool. The pool is actually in the front of the hotel.
It's kind of on, side-ish front.
Yeah.
It's not in the back. Obviously, the back is where the park is.
Sure. I mean, like, I guess you could put the pool in the back, but, it's going in the front. So, like, as you drive in or come into the hotel from the front, you'll be able to see it on your right going in. So.
Yeah, the pool is... I do have some questions on the pool.
Okay.
Just given... first off, it doesn't have a slide. It's a very simple pool.
It doesn't have a slide?
Not that I can see in the concept art. It doesn't look like it have a slide. It's got a zero entry part. It's very much a relaxation, almost like a Vegas style pool.
Okay.
Very long and more seemingly conducive to just like chilling and hanging out sort of thing. Almost like a quiet pool type of setting.
Oh, I didn't know it didn't have a slide. Okay.
At least it may that I can see. It doesn't have a slide that I've seen in the concept art.
Okay.
But it does have a lot of it's got some cabanas, it's got lounge chairs nearby, things like that. So it looks nice, but I would say much more in the Vegas style of pool than your typical like theme park with a water slide.
Yeah, it says zero entry pool with a hot tub. in frozen cocktails and meals, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, it doesn't say anything about a slide. Interesting.
But the questions I have about it is okay. Obviously, it's an in-park hotel, so right near the pool is a bus stop, and obviously where people are driving into the front of Helios Grand Hotel, like to day guests arriving and things like that.
Sure.
And then behind it, you are right next to Dark Universe. Either Dark Universe or Ministry of Magic. I can't remember which one, but
It would be Dark Universe.
Dark Universe right there. So you're right next to in-park elements. I'm just very curious when you're in here, are you going to be able to hear stuff? Now, I'm sure they're going to do a really good job of soundscaping and obviously like sight lines and things. But I've never been in a hotel that is that close to in-park elements. I'm just curious how they'll pull it off. I don't really doubt that they'll be able to. But it's just interesting that, you could literally hop a fence and be in Dark Universe.
I was just trying to think about instances at like Disney, for example, at Epcot. If you step outside Epcot, the international gateway over there, like once you get to, I'd say the Skyliner station, you can't hear the music in the park.
True. That's what I was saying. They'll probably do a good job of it. It's just looking at the construction. It is just right there.
Yeah. That's actually pretty cool. And like thinking about if you were staying here, think of how easy it would be to take a midday break. You just literally just walk back to your hotel from the park in 2 seconds and then just hop in the pool.
Which they mentioned in the video that they did. Like, that's one of the perks of like
Absolutely.
just being able to go in here, take a nap, chill at the pool. Like, you could literally, you could just walk in, go to the pool, come back out. Like, it's very much convenience for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, transportation. Let's talk about transportation. So obviously you have the walk, you can walk from the lobby into Epic Universe. But what about like the other two parks and stuff?
So they'll have bus transportation that'll take you to City Walk.
Okay.
So you'll be able to go there. And there are going to be dedicated bus lanes, at least near Epic Universe, for Universal buses. So
on the road. Got it.
Kind of like what they do at Disney Springs. So that is a question. They're working on roadway around the area as well to hopefully help with the traffic flow, obviously, because there's going to be a lot of people once this opens. But there will be bus transportation to City Walk and Volcano Bay, which typically they'll probably just take you to City Walk because a lot of times with Volcano Bay, I don't know if they'll take you directly to Volcano Bay or not.
Apparently they will.
They will? Okay.
Yes. It's taking you to Volcano Bay, not to City Walk. So there'll be two different buses that go there.
Okay.
And they did say the parking. They did give you a price for parking. So it's $33 per night for guests, overnight guests, just self parking, and $42 for valet. So it's not cheap.
Might as well just do valet.
Honestly, kind of, yeah.
Only like almost $10 more. So
honestly, I do not like paying the parking. I don't like paying parking for any hotel, but that's just
I don't either. But
yeah, not fun. But that is a reality of a situation.
Yeah. But they didn't release anything on pricing, so no clue on
the hotel
itself on the pricing.
Yeah. Okay. So we had talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago when we had last talked about Epic Universe and Helios and everything. So what are you thinking, like price wise? Like if not any discounts included, like base price for like the standard room, standard view, 2-queen room on just a random, Wednesday night.
I've kind of in my head said it could be higher or lower than this, but just somewhere in the $800 range. That's kind of where I'm sitting at with it. I do think this is going to be the highest price hotel on property. I know some people have sort of argued that it won't be, but I don't see how you don't have a brand new in-park hotel to a brand new theme park with these views, all this stuff going on, and it's not the most expensive one. I just think that it's going to be. So I'm just in my head at 800. If it's less than that, great. It's still not something I'm probably wanting to spend per night to stay here. But that's why I'm curious about if you're going to be able to go in here, because I just want to be able to just walk around and just see. I
think you can go inside. I think you'll be able to go in. You mean like from the park, like enter from the park? That's
lobby? My question. Yes. Okay. Of like, will you be able that park entrance for the guests? Are you going to be able to go in there if you're not a day guest at the hotel? I'm kind of leaning toward you may not be able to.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Unless they could do it where you could get a reservation at one of the restaurants, then they may let you do it then.
Well, I know the other places, like if you go to eat at like Portofino or Hard Rock and eat one of the restaurants there, they'll validate your parking.
Yeah.
So
Now, Disney's Grand Californian, that's an in-park hotel.
It's not in the park though.
Similar.
It's right outside. I mean, it gets you right into Grand California.
But can people just walk into that hotel?
Yep.
Okay. I'm just curious how they do it in other parks that do have in-park hotels. I'm curious about, but I don't know. Either way, I definitely want to check this out, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm guessing 800 per night is where my baseline is. If it's less, that's great. But
I mean, that's about what I would think too. Yeah. Yeah, it's a special hotel. So one thing too that they did mention that this hotel will be part of the early park admission. So they will have the park opening earlier for hotel guests. They didn't say how long before. They didn't say when that would start, but they said that it will be a part of that.
Now, they didn't say specifically about Epic Universe for this.
Exactly. So this is the thing, but I have to assume that eventually Epic Universe will be a part of that.
Yes, I would assume if you're staying in this hotel, you would have like early park access, would be my guess.
But you will have early park access to the other two that definitely already do it. Is basically what I was trying to get across. And usually it's just one or the other right now. Like they don't do both Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure for early admission. It's one or the other. So at the same time they don't. But obviously we don't have an opening date for this yet, like we had already discussed. Once we do, we will obviously talk about it and let you know. And once we do and everything opens up for tickets and everything, we've got Zip Travel in our back pocket. They're ready. They are ready to book your trips.
That is true.
They are ready. They've got
true.
their stuff. But that's vacationwithzip.com. Yeah. So definitely contact them if you want to book something whenever that opens up.
So one thing I wanted to add about the potential leak, what I was saying about the castle as being part of the park. The exact quote on the leak of this is, and this is from the article I'm reading about this, says, "This in-park themed hotel is a combination of carefully planned programmatic elements with a unique thematic story that culminates in a lavish extension of story for guests to the park. Envisioned as a present-day alternate universe design, this project was born out of imaginary of fable, video game worlds, and film. Set as the backdrop to the adjacent theme park, Epic Universe, the client sought to create a quote Disney castle which was inhabitable. Heavily influenced by thematic storytelling, this one-of-a-kind hotel houses 500 themed rooms, which ends up being true, a spectacular outdoor pool, and an amenity floor that includes a ballroom and a grandiose domed bar experience." So the part they didn't say anything about was the whole, like, they're not going to say a Disney castle, but it seems like when they reached out, I'm guessing this leak came from a design firm. This is what they were looking for. So there's probably more details about the hotel that we'll find out about at some point, but this is what we know as of now.
All right. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see inside of it because who knows if we'll ever get to stay there, depending on the prices.
I'm going to just say we will get to stay there at some point.
Oh, okay.
We will stay there at some point.
All right. So I'm holding you to that.